and then we have program.cs. So this is the I mean, like a main method, we can say. In normal console application, it's like a main method where application starts. So here, first of all, creating a new web application and then adding the services. In this example, only one service is added, that is controllers. And then the next section would be adding the middlewares. So this is authorization by default added, and map controllers is another middleware is added. So here we have to discuss about a couple of things. First of all, let's see ASP core. What is ASP core? Okay, so this is official Microsoft documentation. So ASP core is a cross-platform, and then it's an open source. Like .NET Core, ASP Core is also has the same features. So it is a cross-platform. It's open source. It is a framework. What is the purpose of that? We can use this ASP Core to create APIs. That is application programming interface. So which can run on Windows, Mac, and Linux. And another important thing is the same ASP core will help us to build two different things. If you see, unified story for building web UI and also web API. That means it is possible for us to build the web UI and web API. So what is web UI and what is web API? What is the difference between these two? Web UI means it will give responses in the form of HTML. Web API will give responses in the form of JSON by default, but it is also possible to also give responses in the other formats, for example, XML. Okay, so web UIs are for direct end users. Then web APIs are for other applications, like other client applications. In real world, we can think. For example, we see Google Maps API. Google Maps API is used by Zomato, Swiggy, Uber, Ola, like that, many different applications. That means this Google Maps API is giving responses in the JSON format. Then other client applications can call and consume the APIs. So that kind of things, application, when we have application logic, which can be shared by multiple different applications, when we can build the web APIs. Web UI means direct client, the end user will use that UI. So now we are focusing on web API. Another important thing we also need to understand is middlewares. So middleware is like a once software which is assembled into the application pipeline. Middleware is a software which is assembled into the application pipeline to handle the requests and responses. So here we can see a diagram. So when a request comes and finally the request is processed and then send the response. So in between we can add multiple middlewares. So each middleware will have some responsibility within that request response. So this is like a pipeline. Inside the pipeline we can assemble, we can arrange different middlewares based upon the need. So when the one middleware is completed, it will see if it is required, it will call the next, then the next middleware will be executed. If it is not required, here itself it will send the response. Likewise, if it is calling the next middleware, then it will execute its logic. If it is required to move to the next middleware, it will call. Else it will send the response. So likewise, it will happen. So example middleware or built-in middlewares, if you see, these are the built-in middlewares, but it is also possible to write the custom middleware. But most of the situations we will use the built-in middlewares. Example middlewares are like exception handler, static file middleware, routing middleware, CARS, authentication, authorization. I think in this demo we will see these two, authentication and authorization. Of course, we also use the routing. So 3 middlewares we will use. So we can think about this middleware is like a software which is assembled. It means which is arranged in the pipeline. Okay, so now let's move on to the our demo. Okay, so this is a simple application, and here this is a program. By default added one service controllers and then two middlewares. Authorization by default added. We can customize this. Okay, and we have the controllers also. So then we have the one default controller. Okay, that is weather forecast. For that it is adding one default like a model kind of thing. Okay, so we will just run and see this, and then we will create our own models and other things. Okay, so when we have run it, application is started. You can see it is getting started here. Okay, so we can see here application is started, and then we can see it is available or it is listening on this port number 5269. So to make use of this, we can just okay. So we are not getting by default the response. So we just give the name of the controller. Okay, so you can see the default data that we have. Okay, so now let us move on to create our own simple model. So by default it is creating like this. Then we can just create a new folder, create the models. Let us add a simple model. Model means basically like a class. And add with simple fields. Okay, so we can take ID, name, price is fine. These things we just remove it. Make the thing simple. 4 field it's fine. ID, name, description, and price. Okay, then we will add a new controller. This controller we can select. If you see on the left hand side, we have to select API controller. We can select empty. We also have other options like read write also we can get started, but we will start with empty, then we will keep adding it. And let's name this as products controller. Okay, once we added the controller, you can see that this controller is also like a class which inherits controller base. On the top of that, two annotations or two attributes are defined. So one is a API controller. That means this controller or this class is now an API controller. Then there is also route is defined. So this is like a attribute based routing. So when we want to access these products, then you have to give API slash the controller name. So application root URL will be there. That application root URL is defined in launch settings in properties. This is the application URL. This is called application root URL. To that slash, then we have to give the API slash controller name. We also can set by default also we can set it. Okay, first we will go ahead with the default one. Then we will first try to do simple things, simple operations with, for example, yeah, it is suggesting the static list. We can go ahead with this. The static list, you can see created a list. Okay, we have to add the namespace for this. It is creating 3 items, laptop. Okay, yes, that's fine. Then first operation you can see where we have to write a method get products, and then action result enumerable of product. That means it is basically returning a list. What is a list? It is basically products. That's why we are saying here okay. So what is this okay means? We have to understand some things. For example, we need to understand HTTP status codes. So HTTP status codes are defined like 100 series, 200 series, 300, 400, 500. 100 series are informational, 200s are successful, and 300 are redirections, 400 are client side errors, 500 are server side errors. Okay, if client does not send a proper request, then it is a client side error. That means 400 series. Maybe you might have come across 404 not found. That means if you are sending something but which is not available in the server, then you will get 404. Maybe you are getting 401 unauthorized, like that. So these are all the 400 series. 500 are internal server errors. For example, database is shut down, or you are trying to access something but server side there is a problem. So that kind of things are server side errors. 200 are when we are sending a successful request, we are getting the successful response. So 200. So this okay is also one of that. Return okay means it's like a successful response we are sending, and then along with that we are sending the products, all the products which we have. So that is the okay. Likewise, if you are searching with particular ID, so in this case you can see if you are sending ID, then search the product, then send it. Okay, here two conditions. You see that first to search with the products with ID. If it is found, send it with OK. If it is not found or if it is null, then send the not found. That means like a 404. Okay, so let us test these two first. So let's run this application. Okay, it is started. Okay, let's now try that API products. So we have 3 products. You can see that all the 3 products are displayed. Now we can search with ID. For example, we can give ID 1. Okay, we got it, that one product. If we give, let's say, some product number ID which is not there, you can see that what kind of response we got it. We got 404, which is actually not found. Okay, so these are the 2 simple operations we have. Likewise, we can also do the other operations. This is what get operation basically. If you see the these two methods. You can see that HTTP GET. For this also we have HTTP GET, but one small change, that is, which is taking a parameter called ID. So now we can also try the post, means to create a new product. Likewise, we can also try the update and delete. Okay, so first let's see post operation. So for that we can write HTTP post. Then we can add the create product, and then which is taking one parameter product, and it is actually trying to check if it is null. Then we are saying bad request. That means you have to send the product. Otherwise, if it is not null, then you can go ahead and generate the next ID. So this logic can be customized. For example, the user can send the ID, or we don't send from the client, but we will generate it backend. So we can customize this and then add the product to the products list. Then once it is successfully created, we can say here created action, and then we can say here name of the product. That means the get product. Already get product is there here. Okay, then we are sending here new ID is equal to, that means newly created ID. That means we have generated here. What is the logic here? Already existing products, if you see, we started with what? 1, 2, 3. So it should, first of all, it will take the max of that, then plus 1. That means we are giving the next product is like a 4. And then we are sending that. So that is a overall logic here. So here you can see the HTTP post. Then the name of the method is create post, and which is taking the parameter as product. Okay, let us now run and see this. Okay, it started. Let's now try. But how can we try? How can we test it? How can we send the data here? In browser, we can't send it. Okay, so we have to use tools like Postman, or we have to configure JSON. So now let's see in Postman how we can send it. Then we also will configure the Swagger, and then we will test it. Okay, so what is the URL of this particular application? We have to copy this. Okay, now we are testing API products. And what is the verb we are using? Post. And then we have to use this body. Inside the body, we have to send the JSON format of data. Okay, what kind of data we have to send? You have to see your model. If you see the model, you will get all the data. So name, description, price, 3 things. Okay, so we don't send ID because we have to see the controller logic. So here we are generating the ID. That's why we don't send it. So when we send this request, what should happen? It should add this product to the existing product list, and it should return what? If you see, it is returning. If you see the return type, action result of product, we will see that. If this request is successful, you see that we got 201. It's created. That means it's successful. 200 series. So we have seen here initially we have seen the different types of HTTP status codes. 200 is basically successful responses. So that's what we are getting here. 201 created, and you can see that ID is automatically generated. And then you can see the other details. So now if you want to test it with all the items, get means we should see this newly created product also. You can see that. Or if you search with ID also, we should be able to get it. Okay, so this is the create operation. So likewise, we can also try the update operations and delete operations as well. Okay, so this is the, okay, let us also see the, so this is HTTP put means it's basically with update. So in update, what we are trying to do now, it has two parameters. The first parameter is the ID of the product update. The second one is product. Then we have to search it whether the product is null. If it is null, we have to send bad request. Otherwise, we have to first get the existing product. That means in database or in list, we already have existing product that we have to get it. Once we got it, maybe if you want, we can also rename this as updated product. So from the updated product, we have to get all the details. Okay, so first we have to get the existing product. We have to search it. If it is found, then we have to, if it is not found, existing product is equal to null means it's not there. Then we have to send there is no such product. We have to send not found. Else we have to change the name. We have to change the description, price, product, and then we have to, you can see return type. Return type is action result. So we are not sending any content. So no content. Let's now how it works. Okay, it is there. So now we have to go ahead. We have to change our verb to put. Then let us say we want to update product 1. Okay, so this, and we will increase the price, let's say 250, and we will change description as ink pen. Okay, so now we are changing the name of the product, price, and then description. Now we want to update it. You can see we got the 204 status code, 200 series, 200 or 201, it's fine. No content, we did not receive any data, but it's updated or not. Let's see if you just change it as get. Okay, you can see that it's updated successfully. Okay, so that is the put update. Likewise, we can try for the delete. So we can, for example, if you want to customize something, we can write delete. It will take ID. So what it will do here, you can write where, yes, product we want to see. We have to search inside the list. We have to send yes p. We can give if it is found. Okay, we will get it. If product is there, we have to send product not found. Else we have to remove the product, change the then we have given a string. So then we can say here, if it is HTTP, you can see the other types, action result. Okay, you can see because it is string type, if product is null, then we are sending a string. That means it's a string. Otherwise, we are sending, yes, we are sending string message, product deleted successfully. So we can customize it. Let's now run and see this. So we have to now try the delete operation. Okay, so delete, we are trying to do delete with the ID 1. Okay, we see the 200. Okay, then you can see the message product deleted successfully. If you want to see that in the get, okay, because it's not there, that is deleted. That's why we are getting here 404 not found. So these all operations are successfully tested. Now same thing we will try to do with database. So this is what with simple static list. Now we can change this with database. Okay, so to do the database configuration, model is defined, it's fine. Now we have to do some more things we have to do. What are the we have to do? First of all, we have to install the package. We have to install some packages. Let's see what are the packages we have to install. I think in the last session already we have seen like what are the packages like HTTP framework core, then SQL server design tools. Those things we have to do it. Microsoft.entity framework core. We have to add this package. Okay, it is the next package SQL server. Design. Okay, so these packages are added. We can check it here. See that all the required packages are added. What is the next step? We have to define one new folder. This we can call as data. Inside that we have to define a new class. That class name we can call it app DB context or application DB context. Okay, so first thing is we have to inherit from DB context. So for this we may have to download the package or using statement, that is entity framework core. Then we have to do a couple of things. First thing is we have to write a the connection, what is that, the constructor we have to write it. Okay, by default it is suggesting, you can see application DB context, which is taking DB context options, which is the application DB context options. Then okay, by default it is also adding two sample products. We can take this. Okay, in this example you can have a look at this. This is a constructor which is taking one parameter DB context options, the same class name options. This we have to pass to the base class. The second statement is DB set, which we have to use it. It is actually can make the things simpler here. We have when else, so we can directly mention only the name of the product. Everywhere we don't need to write this much lengthy name. Okay, so we are using we are mentioning here DB set. That means we are saying here this is my table. Okay, then this is like seeding data. That means we want to add some sample data here, or we can ignore it. Okay, so it is not compulsory. We can just ignore it. We just start with a model, that's fine. And then okay, this itself we can just remove it. Okay, so we have one simple product, that's it. Then what we can do is we can create now migrations. Okay, so for that what we can do is we can run simple command .NET EF migrations, add initial create. Okay, so this is let's see the directory. Okay, sometimes we have to, okay, let's do one thing, save all. Okay, I think we have not completed one step. We have to add service of database. That's why it is not coming. We have to add a new service. Builder dot services dot add DB context. Okay, so the name of the context is application DB context. So for this, we may have to add the namespace. For this, we have to add a namespace Microsoft.Entity Framework Core. That's it. So we here, okay, we have to mention even connection string. So that we have to do it in app settings. The connection server is equal to, in my case it is Express. You have to check it your server name. Database is equal to, then we have trusted connection is equal to yes. One more thing, trust server certificate is equal to true. So this is the connection string we have to define, and the name of the connection string is default connection. So this we have to use it inside the program class, and we have to give builder.configuration get connection string, the name of the connection string. So with this step, now let's try. Okay, now this time it is created. Now let's verify what is created and how it is created. We can see here migrations, and then it has created initial create. Inside that, it is creating a table with the name products, and the columns are ID, name, and price description. ID is the primary key, and then its identity. That means we don't the ID value automatically to generate. So this has been created. And now what we can do is we can now proceed with what? We can also use the repository pattern. So for that, we will add a new folder. We will name as repositories. We have only two things. That is, we have to add a new class or interface. So this we will call as product repository. We will mention the basic operations. What are the basic operations? Yeah, by default, it is taking, it is giving the options like get async, or I mean that get ID or get product by ID, and then create, update, and delete. Otherwise, we also can make the things simple. Get all, get by ID. Creations, we have to send it, and then we can return the product, or we can just mention void also should be fine. We can customize based upon the need. When it is updated, same thing, we can mention void update async, update we can change. Then void or boolean, it should be fine. We can customize based upon the need. Okay, so then we have to write implementation class. For this, we have to add a new class. That class name is product repository. So which we have to inherit my product repository. Then we have to, it will also help us to one option, that is implement interface. It basically create like this empty ones. For this repository we will add what we are going to use. Can follow this. Then we can assign context. Then we can use the different operations. For example, we want to add a new product, we want to save it, then we can use the context dot products dot add product context dot save changes. Similarly, if you want to delete a product, first we will be using where product is equal to find it. If it is found, then we can say yeah, because it's already boolean is there, we can do that. Else we can say remove, then save changes. So we have to return true. Okay, then we have to do the get all products. We have to just return it to list, which is fine. Get by ID single product. Possible null, it's a warning, no problem, it's fine. Update find it. If it is found, we will not check this logic, we will make simple. If product is found, what we are going to do is product to update dot name is equal to this product. So we can say this is like updated product, and this is what existing product. For better clarity, we can give like this. If this is there, then we are going to change it, all the details. This is updated product. Likewise, we can do for other fields. Existing product price is equal to updated product. Similarly, description. I think name price. Anyhow, ID we will not change. Okay, that's it. What does it say? It's a null warning. It's fine actually. Next. Okay, so these basic operations. It's fine. So now let us proceed. In program file, we have to do one thing. We have to add this service builder dot services dot add scope. So we have to give ID product repository and this one. We have to add the namespace for this. Okay, then we have to now do the controller logic. So to do the controller logic, so earlier what we have done is that is with list. Now we have to do with what? With the database. So first thing is before starting this operations, we have to add the dependency injection. So for that we have to write what is the name of the product repository. So for this we have to add namespace. Okay, next we have to write the constructor. Inside the constructor we have to pass the next we have to proceed with the operations. For example, we start with HTTP GET. We want to send all the list of the products. Now you can see that the code will be much simpler and cleaner because we have written everything in the repository, not directly inside the controller. So this is now just getting the product repository. It is just calling get all. If you see get all, it is returning actually list. That list we are directly returning from the this method. Likewise, we can do with get with ID. Then we can search it, or we can directly call the repository. Then it will get by ID means it is if it is there, you can see that it is returning a product. Likewise, we can do the update and other operations. So create new product, and then if product is null, bad request, else we have to say create product. It will take care of that, adding to the database and saving it. Then return the new product, newly created product. We can do that. Next option would be put, that is update. What it should do, if product is null, bad request. If it is there, then we have call the repository. Existing product repository get by ID. Then if existing product is equal to null, return no not found. Else update it with the repository everything. Okay. Otherwise return this. Next option, last the operation would be delete. So once again call the repository here. Namespace, class and method. Okay. Okay, this is completed. So let's now try this. If anything missing, then we will update accordingly. Yes, it is started. We can first try. I think right now we don't have any product. Okay, let's see the same thing. This will not change. Let's see what will happen. This is a get operation and we are trying with what? 1. What is the exception it is trying to do here? Cannot open database. Okay, I think we did not do one step actually. What is that step means? First of all, we have created a migration, but we did not update the database. That the database is not actually created. To check that, let's confirm here. the name of the database, it should be week demo database. I think it's not there. That's the reason. So we have to run the command database update. Okay, now it is succeeded. Now let's try this. I think it started. Then we can search. Okay, we got 404. Yeah, it is expected because this product is not there. So first let's try to create a new product. So we should not send ID. The reason is because it's auto generated. Okay, let's send a request. Okay, 201 created, and also we got it, the newly created product. Now if you search with ID, it should give. Yes, it is working fine, and if you remove that, it should give all the list. Anyhow, only one is there. So if you want to update, then we have to change this as put. Then we can change. Okay, I think we have forgotten here to send the ID. Now it is fine, no content, but we can cross check whether it is updated or not. Yes, it's fine, it's working. Now we can try the delete operation. Okay, to see that list. Okay, once again 404 not found. Okay, so with the database with repository pattern, this CRUD operations is done. Okay, so now let us add the. So to add the Swagger, let's see what are the different we have to follow. Okay, let's first add the package. We have to add a ASP.core. Okay, so with this step, you can see what has been added. You can have a look at this. It's added a new package. We have added two things. We have to add a service, and then we have to enable the middleware. Two things we have. Add the okay, we have to add this, and then Okay, before that, I think we have to write one simple condition, that is if app dot environment is development, then we have to use these things. Okay, what is this? If you look at the environment which now application is a development. So during the development, we your application, we need some tools like example. So we are checking that condition. If application environment in this Swagger UI. Swagger is basically, it gives two different options. One is UI, another one is JSON. So JSON is used for other applications which can read the JSON configuration and then it can understand. So basically for the application, UI means for the end user, we can use it as an end user, we can use the different endpoints. What are the different endpoints are there in this API? Okay, so these are the steps we have to do. First, load, or we have to add a package. The package is /buckle.ASP.NET Core. We configure the service and then we have to enable the middleware. Okay, now let us run this application. Okay, application is started. Now where can I see the Swagger bin? See, by default, if you see in the browser, okay, so we have to give like this Swagger. Then automatically we get Swagger. You can see index.html means it's basically giving a UI. So that's why the name here, if you have a look at the configuration, the code, UI means this is the one like HTML. The other option is JSON. You can see here itself they are giving JSON. So JSON means it looks like this. So it is basically giving open API and then information, title, version. You have the different path like /API products means there we have get. Then you will get the list of all the products. Then if you say product with ID, all that options, whatever we see that. And then the other one would be, if you just give Swagger means it will give the UI. So where you have option. For example, you want to test it. Get means you just execute it. Then we should be able to see all the products. But I think currently we don't have products means it will give the 200 empty, no products, empty array. Okay. We can now try the creating a new product post. By default, it will give the sample data also. So ID, we don't need to send it. So we just remove it. Name of the product, you can give sample product. Then we can execute it. Okay, you can see the 201 product is created and we can see that a new product with ID 2 and then the other details. Likewise, you can search it with ID. So we will just mention the ID, product ID 2. You can see that the product has been returned. Likewise, we can try the put operation. So where we have to send the ID to existing ID to then new product name. Okay, it's successful. We got it. Then if you want to test it with get with ID, we can try that. Yes, it's fine. You can see that. Yes, you can see gel pen. What is the ID we have given? One moment. Okay, it's updated. Fine. Now, if you want to try the delete operation, we can see that delete operation. Try it out. Okay, it's successful. So now if you go and see the list, either list or the, okay, once again, empty array, no products. Okay, and apart from this, you can see that these are all the product related things. Get products. And you can also see the weather forecast. So that is a get operation. Likewise, in your application, what are the different controllers you have? For all the things, it will automatically generate this. So it is very, very important for the application, because if you see any of the APIs, for example, Google Maps API, Facebook Developer API, likewise, GitHub API, like that. So we need to know like what are the different endpoints, then how to access them. So that information should be required for us to really integrate into our application. For example, if you are providing external login, like that. Similarly here, when we are building or creating an API, then that should be well documented. And also you can see by default, when you have a look at this, you can see the version 1. That means by default, the API is has a version with V1. That means we can have different versions. Like existing customers, whoever are using it. So when we introduce a new version, so the existing version, the existing users should not be affected. So you can have a look at that information here. So it is Swagger V1 version 1. Likewise, in case if you are going to introduce another version, then we can give version 2. Can serve the different users. So this is how we can use the Swagger. So here we also can introduce, for example, want to add any additional parameters. For example, we can add, you can see the different other options. But by default, it's fine with the default options. But if it is required, we can add the other options. Right now, we can go ahead with the default. It's fine. Okay, so this is Swagger. Let's see the next option, how to use the or how to secure your API. So what is the meaning of security? So we have two things. So mainly we have two different things: authentication, authorization. Authentication means is a process in which a user credentials are verified with the backend, example database. And if it is successful, then we can allow the user. Authorization means we will see what kind of privileges or what kind of permissions or what kind of resources the user can access it. So that is what authorization. Authentication means identifying whether a user is valid or not, valid user or not. Authorization means verifying what kind of privileges the user has. Okay, so now let us proceed using the or configuring the API. So for this we are going to use one option that is called JWT. What is this JWT means? JSON Web Token, short form JWT. So what is the purpose of this? So this will this JWT has a something called a token. This token looks like this. So it has basically three parts: header, payload, and signature. So payload, the header will tell you what kind of algorithm, what kind of token it is. Payload will give you details, what kind of details you are saving inside the token. Then signature means how you are going to validate your signature, means using secret we can validate that. So this is called JWT token, that is JSON Web Token. So what the user will do when user wants to access an API, first the user has to give the credentials like email ID, password, or username, password, like that. If it is a valid, then a token should be generated, and then the token should be sent to the client. Client will retain the token, and for the subsequent request, client will attach the token to the in the subsequent request. Then if it is valid, that means we can also have validity inside that token. For example, at the time of generating the token, we may say that it is valid for 1 hour or 1 day. We have options, and then if it is valid, then the API will allow to access the requested resources. Okay, so now let us proceed using this. Okay, so first thing is we need to add a package, just like Swagger. So we have to proceed with adding a we can use pages. Okay, ASP.NET Core Authentication JWT Bearer. We can add it from the CLI. .ASP.NET Core Authentication JWT Bearer. Okay, it is added. We can verify here. Yes, the package has been added. The next to check with the credentials. I mean, we need to okay. So for this, we can create a. Let's add a new controller. Or before that, we have to configure service. We have the with program. So we have added Swagger like this for the authentication. Add authentication. Okay, by default it is suggesting we require HTTPS. Okay, some option is given. So we can customize based upon the. Okay, we take this default configuration. Already it is added. It's required. Okay, so we are taking JWT bearer default, and then we are adding the options. What options we are adding? We are saying the token validation. So that means how the token validated parameters, with what value have to validate it. So issuer, audience, lifetime, and the secret. 4 things should be validated. So to make the things. Okay, so this is validate. Okay, then we have to use this. Okay, so first of all we have to define apps in app settings. We have to define the JWT configurations. For example, we can say inside this the important things like issuer. We will take just a sample things like okay, some key here. Audience key. Issuer is like a dump or audience, but in real time we can have the real issuer who is actually issuing it, and audience who are the people who are going to use it, and then key. Okay, so in this case we are, and so this we have to compare with this builder.configuration JWTs. You can see the my JWT is this, and then inside that issuer audience. Likewise, we can also see here JWT key. So in case if we have given server secret or any other name, you have to exactly, it should be exactly matched with that. Okay, in this case it's fine. And another thing you can notice here is it is UTF-8. So we have the different options. Like in this example, have a look at this. So we have UTF-8 by default, it is showing here, but you can see other option base64 also. Like there are different ways of doing the encoding and then decoding options. Okay, so this is the configuration we have done. So what we are saying here, while you have to validate the token, you have to see what parameters means. You have to validate the issuer, you have to validate the audience, you have to validate the lifetime. Lifetime means basically how much token there. For example, now we have created next 1 hour. So within 1 hour, it's valid like that. Then you have to also validate the secret key which we have defined here. So this here, issuer, audience, and key. Upon it has to validate one more thing, that is lifetime. How much time it should be valid. So while generating the key, what we are trying to do is, first of all, we are reading it from the configuration JWT key, then we are encoding it, and then we are verifying it. So this is the system.text.encoding using UTF-8. So it will be validating it. So this is the configuration. The service should be added, authentication. Apart from this, we have to enable middleware. Now we will use app.use authentication. So two middleware, authentication, authorization. Two middleware should be enabled. Okay. Proceed with the next step. What is the next step? To check this, we need one controller to do that. So for this, we are going to add a new controller. So this is the API controller, empty we will make it. So in this case, we are writing auth controller, basically authentication controller. So here we are going to add a simple thing. We will require a new thing, that is, we can take login kind of thing. So this login, what it should do? Okay, so right now we don't have anything login request. For this, we will add a simple model. Okay, so which should have two fields. It is give user, but we can also use email. Okay, with the two simple fields, it's fine actually. We can change this email. I will take the email. Login with two fields, that's it. Okay, now we will also change accordingly here. Instead of login request, we can change login. We can add the appropriate models. Okay, so here we a simple text, we will try abc@gmail.com. Sample password pass 123. If it is required, if login, if email, then we have to write some. We can, else we have to return unauthorized. So we will write one generate token which returns a string. Basically, which is going to if token, if it is there, then it has to Okay, you can have a look at this. What are the different are there? What are the different parameters are there? You can have a look at this. In this example, you can have a look at this. What are the information a token should contain? Okay, now you can see here the token should contain information like issuer, audience, time, and security. So this information should be there inside the token. As you can see, what are the different information? You can see it is listing here. Then signing credentials. So these four information should be there. You can take this. You can have a look at this. Issuer, we have to change here. Where is our issuer is there? Our issuer is already defined in app settings. Audience is here. He is here. We have to read it all here from here. So that logic we have to customize here. So in this case, we need some one helper. That is nothing but we have to add a one dependency by configuration. So once we have the configuration, with this we can take the help of the configuration. We can remove the string actually. We can say configuration issuer. Similarly, we have to do for the other things. For example, configuration audience. So by default, it is giving add minutes. From now, it is adding 30 minutes. Okay, that should be fine. Then these two things, that is getting the secret key. But we should replace this with our actual key. What is the actual key? Configuration key. Okay, so once it is there, return new token. Basically, it is going to write token will encode it. Okay, then we have to return the token. So if you want, you can make this into 2 lines. We can say that the token is generated. This is like a plain text. Then we have to, with the help of the then we have to return that. So that return token will come here. Then we are returning to the request. Okay. Now let's build it. Okay, let's run this code. We will first see whether email ID and password is valid and it is able to send the token or not. So let us go ahead here. You can see where is that controller means it's there auth and with the name login. We have to try that. And you can have a look at this. Change it as post API auth login. Inside the body, we have to send two information now. One is email. Second one is password. Okay, the type of request is post. What happened here? Okay, unable to create algorithm. The key size. Okay, I think it is saying maybe the size is a little less. We will increase that. Okay, now we can see that we have received a token. So this is called the token. This token, if you want to verify it with JWT-IO, you can use it. You can just paste the token. You can see what information we got it here. You can see information currently what we have here. You can have a look at this. It has issuer, it has audience. Okay, whatever the data that we have given. Validity, you can see that from the current time, it is next half an hour. Okay, and then algorithm and type of this. Apart from this, currently signature verification failed, but we have to check it with our actual key. Still it is showing invalid. My super secret. Okay, I think I did not copy properly. 5 is missing. Okay, now you can see valid secret. Fine. Okay, so this is how we can validate it. Okay, so now what we have to do is the token is getting generated properly. No problem with that. And here what are the other information? You can have a look at this. Okay, now with this simple information, what we can do is, see, currently if you see what are the controllers we have here. In this example we have products and weather forecast. Okay, so here now we have configured the GW security, but still not secure the controllers. It means if you run this application without authenticating, if you try to access the other two controllers, for example products or weather forecast also, it may work or not, we will see that. Let's try. So if you try to use API products, and if it is get operation, we'll see what is the response. Okay, it is still working because 200 empty array means there is no data, but still the request is successful. So we have to secure it. To secure that, what we have to do is we have to enable, or we have to add here one new attribute that is called authorize attribute. Okay, and for this auth controller we have to give the one attribute that is called allow anonymous. That means this controller, without giving any credentials, user should accept it, but this products controller only after verifying it, the proper should be able to access it. So that is the meaning of this. Likewise for other controller, for example weather forecast also we can give this. So all other controllers we have to give this attribute authorize. Okay, now let us run this. After giving this, we see what will happen now. So now application is running here. Now if you try to do the same thing, we will see what is the response now. Now we have added the authorized attribute. Now you can see 401 unauthorized. So what we are saying here, you have not first verified your email ID and password. You have to verify your credentials. So if it is valid, then you can access this. So that is the meaning here, 401 unauthorized. So now what user should do, first of all, send the auth and then send the email ID password, receive the token. So copy this token, then we have to change if it is get. Then here we have one section, authorization. Inside that you can see there are different things. So we have to select Bera token, then paste your token here. Then for example weather forecast or products, you can try something. If it is weather forecast, send it. Okay, now it is accepted. Likewise, you can also test it for API products. You can send it. So if it is authorization successful, then this request also should be valid. You can see that it is giving an empty response with products. So this authentication is successful. So if you give invalid token, or if you don't send, let's say no authentication, you can see that 401 unauthorized. If you send the valid token, then we can see that it's accepted. So that means no user can access directly any resource. Okay, so we have seen, let us, what is API or what is RESTful API, what are the different characteristics or what are the constraints it should have. API, what we can build with that, we can build UIs and also API. Then we started operations. We have also seen like HTTP status code, HTTP different verbs like get, put, post, delete, like that. We have seen how to do the CRUD operations with backend database and SQL server using how to use the Swagger. Swagger is basically to write the documentation, and also we can test our API, the function. Swagger is actually giving two different options. One is the Swagger, the standard format, like we have to add a package, then add a service, and then enable the widget. Very similarly, we have seen JWT security. First of all, what is security? What are the two important things? Authentication, authorization. User authorization. What are the different versions of privileges we have? So that is authorization, authentication, authorization. Then what is the package we need to use? What service we have to edit, and then what middlewares we have. Then we have created controller for this. Now if you see authentication controller, it is just checking with a hard-coded username or email password, but you can also add modal is you can add a modal, then you can create a repo, like I use a repo, using repository pattern. You can do the same operations like what we have done it for the products. Then we can add it with a database. We can check then how to configure this and how to generate a token. Then inside the token information it will contain. So in this example, actually how to define the main in this example. And then in the program.cs, how it should value. We have to tell it like with what parameters. In this case, audience define things. So we are telling valid that creating token, we have to add these four: issuer, audience, validity. In this example, and then this is my key. So these four we have to create it, and these four we have to validate it. So when user sending email ID and password, check it whether it is usually in real time you can convert it with database because you already done with EF4. And then if it is valid, create the token and send it. So the user request will attach the token. Once we add the API's validity, user say it's unauthorized. So like this we can configure the authentication and authorization using JWT. Okay, so now next we will move on to the QA question answer. Okay, I can see the question like ASP.NET Core middleware to be integrated with SSMS. No, actually SSMS is one separate tool which will help us to connect it to SQL Server instance, the SQL Server Management Studio. that is used to connect it to the database. Basically, in your local machine, you may have one or the other SQL Server instances are running, which you can connect. Yeah, so in case second question I can see here, if already there is a database, whether we can connect it to that. Yes, you can do so. You don't need to do the database update. You can directly connect. If you have already database is there, then you can directly connect. You don't need to even run the .NET EF Core database update. Okay, you can directly write the model, then use it. You can connect it. You don't need to recreate it. Even if you try to recreate it, it will say that database is already there. Okay. Yeah, actually, so we can see, I can see here, instead of annotating authorize attribute, is there any way that we can make a security config where we would be defining which endpoints would be authenticated and which will not? Actually, I mean controller specific, or we can also do the each action method also we can customize it. Based upon the need, we can customize using this authorize attribute. And also if you anything you want to ignore, you can use the allow anonymous. Okay, apart from this, any other questions? Okay, JWT, see, JWT, JSON Web Token. So what is this JWT? It, as I shown, right, I would like to share once again. I hope my screen is visible. So JSON JWT is actually a token. What this token contains? It contains three things. One is the header, and then it has a payload, then it has a secret. Okay, so the I mean, what is the use of this token? So when user is trying to access first time with our API, user should give the correct email and password. And then once it is valid means the token will be generated and send it to the client. Client will keep the token. So for the next request, once again, the validating or the verification of the email ID password not required. So just attach the token to the request. So that means so we may have something like interceptor. So automatically when we are sending the next request, we can attach the token inside that. Once we do the login process, then we can do the different operations, like we can see the statement, we can send the, we can, I mean, transfer the funds, we can do different operations, but we do only login only once. Okay, likewise here in API, only login once, then subsequent request, we just use the token until we have the validity, we don't need to do it again. So Postman, you can download it actually. Maybe I mean you can. It's open source only. It's available. You can check it. Otherwise, I can share the link also. Any more questions, please?
No, Prakash.
Okay, then we can wind up, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you all for joining the session.
Thank you, Prakash.
Thank you, Bhavya. Thank you,
And
Smita.
yeah, students, please fill in the feedback for the trainer, okay, for the session. It is available. The link is available in your K point.